Hello, my name is Jake Kwan, and this is my World History Historical Artifact presentation on the Hagia Sophia. Before I begin talking about the history and the construction of the Hagia Sophia, I would like to talk about the Nika riots, which first hit Constantinople in January 532 AD. They wanted to throw out Emperor Justinian I, who was emperor for 5 years, and this was mainly due to high taxes. It was also caused by the two factions, the Greens and the Blues, who divided the city for generations, and several members were arrested, most were executed. However, one rider from each side escaped and took refuge in a church, which became surrounded by a mob. And Justinian wanted order, and he said he would commute their sentence, but they wanted to all be pardoned together. But after this, both groups would then attend a chariot race, and in the middle of the race, people could hear angry political chants. Then the mob emerged from the racetrack to burn and destroy. Justinian would then flee and send Narses, who reminded the Blues of that Justinian was of relatively low birth himself and had always favored their more populist cause, and that the one they were against, named Hypatius, was a Green. They would later walk out of the fight, and the Green would be left to be killed and slaughtered by the imperial troops. In these events, there was a church that burned down. It was the original Hagia Sophia. They would then rebuild the Hagia Sophia to represent the triumph for both Justinian and Christianity. To build the new Hagia Sophia, Justinian turned to two people for the construction, Anthemius and Isidore the Elder. They were not known as architects, but mechanikoi or mechanikoi. The two terms were used to describe a small number of practitioners of design, specifically buildings and machines. They finished it in less than 6 years. To build the Hagia Sophia, they crushed fire-burnt stones and added it to a mortar, as they found that it was more flexible and lighter. The bricks they used, marble was used as well, as it made the building stronger and more picturesque. Another material they used was lead sheets, and it was used to create the system of piers. The system of piers was used to channel the weight of the dome at the top of the Hagia Sophia. And below the dome was 40 windows, and it combined the traditional design elements of an Orthodox basilica with a large domed roof and a semi-domed altar with two narthex. For seating, it had a ground floor and a gallery, and it left an impression that it was organized by class and gender, and the church in general was used as imperial lodge. The empress and the emperor would occasionally attend the services and would use the imperial door or the central door, which could only be used by the emperor and his attendants. The decorations inside the Hagia Sophia would include a number of mosaics, imperial portraits, images of the imperial family, images of Christ, and different emperors that were added over the years. Iconoclasm resulted in the destruction of some of the mosaics, but a highly well-known mosaic, which was found at the apse of the church showing a 13-foot Virgin Mary with Jesus as a child, left unscathed. The style of the Hagia Sophia, specifically the dome shape, would go on to inspire many other buildings like the Blue Mosque, as is shown right here, and many more. But specifically, it inspired the Israeli architect Shinan, who would build many more mosques that followed suit of the Hagia Sophia. The dome shape also has become a big part of Turkey's architecture, as many mosques use that same dome shape. In 1453, the Ottomans would then convert the Church of Hagia Sophia into a mosque. Under the Ottomans, the mosaics were painted over with yellow paint, except the mosaic of the Virgin Mary with Jesus at the apse. Hagia Sophia's dome would then inspire later Ottoman structures, like, as I said, the Blue Mosque. Then in 1934, Turkey would then convert it into a museum. Still to this day, people are researching, repairing, and restoring the Hagia Sophia, and is a part of the culture of the city. As confirmed in May of this year, the Hagia Sophia has turned back into a mosque and is now named the Hagia Sophia Grand Mosque. President Erdogan was accused of pandering to Islamist feeling and seeking popularity. There were outbuildings containing 5 early modern sultans now, and some mosaics are still there, whether they're covered or screened during Muslim services. Other religions could still visit for free, though. The conflict that arose was that other churches made bitter statements about the change to a mosque. The Middle East Council of Churches saw the Turkish move as an assault on religious freedom, countermanding 3 decades of interfaith dialogues, and told the United Nations and Arab League to intervene. The Geneva-based World Council of Churches told President Erdogan that they felt grief and dismay, and they said groups would overturn the existing status quo and promote renewed divisions. The Pope did not respond automatically, though, but when he did, he simply said that he was very saddened. And Greece's Bishops' Conference wrote President Erdogan that this big mistake would cause division and conflict among people. Some other things you may want to know about the Hagia Sophia is that it translates to holy wisdom and was built at Constantinople in 6th century AD. It has two floors centered on a giant nave and a great dome ceiling. It is 207 feet long, 240 feet wide. The dome is 100 feet in diameter and 180 feet above the pavement, and has served as a Greek Orthodox Christian cathedral, a mosque, and a museum. Thank you for listening to my World History Historical Artifact presentation on the Hagia Sophia.